I think it's something that's becoming more, spoken about more often now. I can't really talk about other clubs. I don't really go into other clubs. Certainly in the professional environment, player welfare officers and things like that are becoming more commonplace. How developed and mature those are, I really don't know. I was talking to a good friend of mine on Friday, a guy called Kevin George. He's wrote a book called Psychology. He's got another book coming out soon. I would plug it, but I don't know what it's called. And he's very much in that psychology space. And we spoke often about, my character as a player. I was somebody that was well liked from a management perspective because I was your typical run through brick walls. He gets in people's faces. He's good for the group. He's loud. He's, charismatic, etc., etc. But I was also prone to violence. I was also prone to disciplinary issues. Could fly off the handle quickly, and that's a product of my upbringing and where I'm from, and how you operate on an estate, and how you meet aggression with aggression. And if you back down from that, that means that you've got a weakness, and that's something that's very common for people going into a professional environment. When the coaches shout and then the kids sort of go like, "Who are you talking to?" in a sort of in a way of bouncing that back, they're seen as having a bad attitude, or being a bad egg. And actually that's a psychological way for them to manage the situation that they're in. So and talking about you represent the club. The mindset is wrong, because you don't represent the club. You're not a representation of the club. You're a representation of yourself. And that's how you should see yourself. What you project is you. So being more understanding of that will help you to be more self-aware and would help you to manage that more effectively. Well-being, it covers a huge umbrella. You could be talking about people that have got neurodiverse, have got challenges that stem from being neurodiverse, right? ADHD, for example. I see a lot of people going, "Oh, everyone's got ADHD these days," and blah, blah, blah. And well, no, it's just becoming diagnosed more. There was a lot of people with ADHD when I was a kid, but it wasn't diagnosed, which meant those children or those people didn't have any help to manage that. So they were often seen as the bad kids or the disruptive kids. So well-being, for a lot of kids that are in the football environment, that are being drummed into him, "You're going to be a footballer, you're going to be a footballer, you're going to be a footballer." And then they get right down to the last, year, and then they get discarded because they're no longer of use to the football club. And they wonder why so many of those boys and girls come out of the game and don't play a game, full stop, or have challenges, mental challenges, depression and things like that. Also because the pressure that comes with it, right, is worse than, and how that's handled is worse than you can imagine. And again, I do recognize that going into full-time employment in any other job brings a certain amount of pressure, but there isn't the same level of blowing smoke up their ass, and there isn't the same level of money. So they're given huge, look at Chelsea as the model. There are there are kids there that have never played a first team game. They're driving around in, Bentleys and things like that, thinking they're going to be a footballer for Chelsea Football Club, and it never materializes. So the crash landing back down to earth is much bigger than it would be if you're working in a professional environment elsewhere on 25 grand a year and someone says, "Look, I don't think this is for you." You can go and get a job somewhere else on very similar money and make a good career out of that. If you're a footballer on 3, 4, 5 grand a week at 17, 18, and you don't crack it off, and then you're a postman tomorrow, there's a world of difference there.